Good morning. Check this out. Let's go get stuff done. Pretty cool, huh? I'm just sitting here trying to contemplate what I want to do on this bike today. Because the goal is to get it running, and we're like on the verge of that. Well, we're not to actually get it running, no, but to like attempt to start it. I mean, we're on the cusp of that. I'm basically waiting for, let's look. Yeah, we're basically waiting for that little hose to show up so we can button up this section here. And then, not that we need the coolant hoses to be functioning to actually just start this thing up, but just for the purposes of getting this stuff done and out of the way, because I need to put stuff on top of it. The air box and everything goes on top of this, and then we can start it. And so I'm basically waiting for that hose to show up, and then it's a matter of just putting oil in this thing, getting the exhaust on there to some degree, what we have left of the exhaust, and then it's going to be a lot of finessing with the electronics on this, I believe, because when I tried to sort of turn it on last time, I got this blinking red light on the dash and everything, and I got absolutely no functionality in terms of the starter or the horn even. And so I know there's going to be some messing with that could take a while. So at the moment, I'm back to like messing with this lock again. This freaking lock. I'm gonna put some heat to this thing just to see what happens. Top it off, some more fluid. The fluid doesn't seem to be going down really overnight, which is surprising. Because every other fluid I ever put in there would go down. Would just sort of drip down into the tank. But this rust stuff, no, it doesn't. Pretty hot. There's a little O-ring on there. I'm trying not to melt that. That's why I keep putting water on there so that O-ring doesn't get too hot and dry out and melt. Oh my God. Oh my God. We got it, dude. Oh, yes. That's a major moment here. That's a major moment. Oh, I can't believe that just worked. Oh, that just saved us some money. Cause this, oh my God. Cause this was gonna cost, I mean the tank, to get a new tank would be like $200. And then one of these would be like $100 or like, I don't, if I got a really cheap generic one that's like $30 or something. But then I think I'm gonna have to spend money on like a fuel pump and things like that, and that could be like, it's gonna be like $500, man. So I could be like $1,000 into this, just a fuel tank by the time I'm done. But thankfully, this came off. Oh my Lord! But yeah, you can. Let's take a closer look. You can't get this thing off. Like there's all these little bolts on top here, which are deceptive because you think, oh, I'll take those bolts off and this thing will come off. But these are really kind of decorative in a sense, where you can't get, you can unbolt those, and it's really just 3 bolts there that hold that thing down. But they're attached to that, and but this thing is engaged. You've got these 2 little pins, whatever, that come out the side there, and that's what locks it, and it locks it in right on these sides here and holds that in. And if these are engaged, you cannot pull this thing out, and therefore you can't get this top mechanism off at all. So all right, now we're in business. Now I can get in here and like really de-rust this thing. I hope that's a whole nother thing. That's what we're gonna work on today, dude. So I've turned the tank upside down, and my plan is basically to cap these off, to cap off this hole and cap off that hole. So I gotta make some little plates or whatever that go over the top of this, so I can bolt this down. And I should have some rubber I can throw in there, sandwich in between that plate, and just seal that right off. And then we can turn it upside down, and we can fill the whole thing up with some vinegar and let that stuff de-rust. All right, so I wanna get some oil on this thing and lube this up. It doesn't really want to turn. Boy, yeah, this really doesn't want to turn. My key has like become Excalibur, where it is now stuck in here. And I can't turn it can't turn it all the way to get it out. What is going on in here? A bunch of grime. I'm gonna go rinse this thing off and see if that helps. So I've rinsed it off. I'm continuing to oil it here. And I'm really starting to question the little key master, the guy who made this key for me. Like, he talked a really good game, man. And like, but he made it sound like you would be able to take this mechanism apart and like from inside the tank. And I don't see, and that wasn't the case in mine. Like, you couldn't even reach this mechanism. And now that even I have it off in my hand, I'm like, how does this come apart? There was no way I was going to be able to do that from inside the tank. But yeah, I would like to clean this thing, take it apart and refurbish it to some degree. Dude, but I can't even get this thing to, I mean, we just had like a miracle that just happened, where this thing worked, but only maybe at one time. Maybe it won't work ever again. I'm sure that's not the case, but this thing is it's eating my key, dude. I can't get the key out. Like, the key will not come back out. Possibly it's designed to hold the key, except for when it's locked on the bike, so that you can't lose the key when you're getting gas, right? But crap, this is adding some stress to my life. Springs in there, I bet you those things are just on death's door. Like this needs to come apart. Maybe a hot oil bath. Yeah. But we have experienced a miracle today here on Hoopty Doodle. There was like very little hope for this thing, and we somehow came off, and now it does not want to go back on. Crazy, man. Crazy the stuff that happens here on this channel. Just unbelievable. All right, and I'll let this sit for a minute. So I've got a little cardboard box here, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this guy and use it to make some templates. And then we'll use these templates to make our little metal caps there, and then we can seal this thing off. All right, so I just want to cut something out that is close to the size we need, something like this. And then I'm just gonna sort of push this cardboard down onto those little studs and make some impressions, an indent. And then we should be in business there. And you probably, I mean, you can't see this on camera, but there are these little indents on top of there. I can drill through those or punch through those, and then that will give me my my spacing, correct spacing, everything for a cap that I can now make out of metal. And we've got that metal right here. So yeah, this is some like 14 gauge steel here, left over from other projects. This will be a nice spot over here for this guy. I kind of want to just center punch right through this thing. Just go crazy. All right, we've got our little holes drilled. Now I need to cut this out in some semblance of a shape that is really just needs to be on the outside of these 4 holes, because what counts is on the inside. So let's just sort of square that off and cut it. So somewhere there. Get out my little bandsaw table. I really do like this table, man. I think I did a great job making this thing. I'm very proud of that. This really fits my personality, my aesthetic, more than anything else in this whole shop. Like, this thing is freaking cool. This feels good to be like making something, you know? Like the mechanic stuff, putting things back together is fun for a while, but making a thing is cool. Even though this is we're just making a tool here. I want to try and clean this up a bit because there's a bunch of rough edges on it at this point. That's much better. Let's try it out on the actual tank and see how it looks. All right. Basically, I just need it to fit on here correctly. It appears it will. But I don't have much thread on there. Oh, there's already like an O-ring on there. Okay, well that's convenient. All right, so in theory that will seal it up. We'll see. We'll see about that one. All right, and then I've got all the bolts and stuff are sitting right here. All the nuts, sorry. Sorry, I want to be technically correct and say all the nuts, because these are nuts, not bolts. That, and then I'll have to snug those down a little bit more. Get that thing nice and sealed. And then there's one. Now we need to do this guy. So here's our little cap. Fits on there. Now we need a little gasket to go in there. Little gasket. Somewhere in here, we've got some rubber bits. Oh, that is not big enough. Crap, I thought I had a bigger piece than that. All right, let's check in here as well. Here's another piece of that rubber, but it's just not big enough either. All right, we're back. So what I got was this rubber gasket material. They sell it in like the plumbing section. And I've bought this stuff before. It works great for this sort of application. It's just a little sheet of rubber, man. So I can cut this out to exactly the size I need for this guy here. Let's make a template. I make this guy go down on this thing. So with that, now we can cut it out and get a better, much closer approximation of where that gasket is and needs to be, how big that gasket needs to be. All right, so that guy, I'm gonna stick him on here and sort of oversize him a bit. Let's see how it'll work. So that should fit inside there just like that. This gasket might not be fat enough. All right, let's double this gasket. So I made another one the same size because this wasn't coming up. It was too thin of a gasket to get up above where the cap is going to be, and it wasn't going to squish down the way it needed to make a seal. Let's see if it works, man. There's one way to find out. Tighten this guy down, tighten this guy down, and hopefully we'll have a good seal here, a watertight seal. That's the dream. Wish me luck here. It seems to be working. We're in luck. I don't want to get too excited here. Wow, this tank holds a lot of gas. All right, so I need to get more vinegar to throw in here. That'll give us a good leak test right there. See if that leaks out. All right, I'm gonna let that sit.